Hi, welcome back. My name is Ajay, guys, and today we will be discussing about the SQL Server. I have got three questions for you. If you are a beginner in SQL Server, or maybe you don't have any idea but you want to learn it, or maybe you are appearing for an interview, please have a look. These three SQL Server, the questions. Actually, it's SQL question because doesn't matter which database you are using. You can use these concepts, right? And this will help you a lot. So let's go and start this. Let me show you what are the questions we have, right? And if you see here, we have a serial number, employee ID, month index, and the salary. So this is the main part, right? So everybody's getting the salary. Salaries are in your own currency, country, currency, dollars, rupees, whatever you want to call it. So now this is the first question. Let's solve the first question. Now, what is the first question? Find the second highest salary without top, limit, and offset. You don't have to use these three. This is very interesting now. Now, if you're using the SQL Server, let me tell you one thing. You can't use the limit, right? I hope you know this, just for information. You can use the top, like I'm using SQL Server, so I will be talking about this, and the offset. Now, with the top and the offset also, the question, we can solve this. But as your question says that you don't have to use these. So how are we going to do it? Okay, so let's start this now. Okay, so first of all, let me just create some space here. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do, because see, this is the second highest salary, right? Second highest. Generally, to find out the salary, the highest salary, I can use the max function, isn't it? I can say the max salary as highest salary, for example, from my dbo dot employee. Let me just paste this from here actually. Okay, so this is, if I run this, let me just use this also here. Let me cut this from here. Yeah. So now there are two queries. If I just run these queries like this, let's see what we are going to get. You see in the second query, this is the one, right? So in this query, we have got 1400, and this is the 1400, I guess, the highest one, right? Because you can see 1000, 1100, 1200, 1300. So this is working fine. Perfect. Now, the problem is that I don't want this 1400, right? So what is the trick here now? This is very interesting. You see, if I know the highest salary, right? If I know the highest salary, then what if I say that I don't want to include this highest salary in my query? What will happen then? You will get all the other salaries which are not equivalent to which is not actually which does not have this number, which is in our case $1400, for example, isn't it? But now the problem is, if I use a query which is going to exclude this not equals to 1400, I will get the rest of the salaries, but I want only one salary, isn't it? So there can be a lot of ways of doing it, but what if I say that once we have got this database, a table actually, I beg your pardon, where we don't have this 1400. And then from that table, from that data, what if I say I want the maximum salary? There you go, right? Because eventually then you will get the second highest salary. Fantastic. So how are we going to do it? So what we will do is we will simply go and say we're going to use this in the other query. So I'm going to say that select max salary again, okay, as let's say second highest salary from my table again, give you employee, right? Where this is the most important part. Where what? Where the salary that we have here, it should be less than 1400. Is this going to work? So 1400, I'm not going to write like this because tomorrow the data may change, isn't it? So what I'm going to do, because I've already used the query, I've already created the query. So we will just go and say whatever this query returns, and this query returns the highest number, the highest salary, it has to be less than that. So ultimately what will happen, you will actually get this, not this one, then this, and then this, and this, so you get all except for this 1400. Make sense? Now you have a data where you have all the salaries. Now out of those salaries, I'm just saying that give me the maximum salary. So what it is going to pull up for you? I think it is going to pull up the 1300 because that is what I see. Because ultimately that will be the highest salary. Interesting, right? So let's go and give it a try. So I'm going to run this. Okay, so I think we are fine with this. Let's just run this and look at this. You have got here 1300. Make sense or not? Right? So this is how we can do it. Now, what happens if I need the entire record? Can I put the star here and I can say that, I want this in this way. Let's just go and run this. Now, when you go and run this, obviously the problem is that this is going to say that it is not a group by. I hope you can see this error. I'm talking about this error, this one, group by. Because you see, when you use so I'm just taking this lecture to the next level, right? I just want to make sure you understand all the points, because who knows, maybe tomorrow they say that actually it is fine. We need the second highest salary, but I also want to see the other details of that person name, date of birth, whatever it is associated with that, right? So when you go and use this, the problem is you can't actually use the aggregate functions if you don't use the group by, right? So the question is now, can we actually go and say the group by? Can we use the group by here? Is this going, going to affect our query, right? So what I'm going to do, so the query, let me write this in this way. Okay, let me just write this in simple one line. Now you see, this is a different query, right? This is a different query. So here we are actually, the query is this. The first query is this, right? So I'm saying that where the salary is less than whatever. And then what if I say that, okay, finally you can just go and group by that because I want the entire record, right? So I say that group by serial number, right? Now please pay attention here. Now when you say the group by serial number, the group by has a rule. If you're going to use a single field here and you're going to use the star here, star means that you're actually trying to say you want all this data. So either you write all the data here, because whatever you write here, the group by has to be the same, right? Or you just go and write here the serial number instead of the star serial number. It's up to you. Well, first of all, let's see that maybe I'm wrong. Let me just go and run this. Okay, let me run this. Again, you get the same error. So what if I need the serial number, for example? Then this should actually work for us. Interesting or not, right? Now, this is very interesting. Why we're getting this type of a output? Because I thought group by will help me. So it's time to play the fundamentals, right? See what is happening. It's very interesting. See, first of all, SQL is going to execute this for you because this is a subquery, right? You will have the maximum salary here, correct? For us, the maximum salary was, what was the salary? It was 1400, correct? $1,400, for example, let's say, right? Now, once it has the $1,400, then the SQL will go and apply the where clause in this data. Where, right? Where is the salary is less than 1400. Okay, so then we will have this. Then this is going to be executed, right? Now, finally, when the data will be given to the group by, what actually this group by does, you need to understand. Group by is basically we use to summarize the data, to repeat the repetition. And against that, if I have, let's say, a category which is coming 10 times, let's say there is a zone East. I have East zone in my data 10 times. I want to find out the total sales of East. And I just want to show the total of the East. So I don't need the 10 East, 10 rows. I will use the group by, right? So group by does that. Now, in our case, if you pay attention, the data, there is no need to use the group by basically, because what has happened, if you see this here, there's no repetition in the serial numbers. All are unique, right? So what is going to happen when the query returns you this, when the query returns 1400, and when it is going to compare if this is less than 1400, this is less than. So the group by, what it is doing, it is going to take all these in the group by, and since they are not repeating, which is fine with the group by, right? But group by will make all these pairs, start making the pairs of these serial numbers. So group by will check that I have to group this. Okay, I'm going to group this. If there are multiple ones, it is going to return you a single one. Since we have already one value here, so it will remain as it is, right? But the point is that this is going to be compared then with, if it is less than 1400 or if it is not less than 1400, right? And same way, all the serial numbers, because it is a group by, so group by will go and try to group all these serial numbers. And as a result, this is where this row will not be included. Have you noticed when I ran this query, there was no mention of the serial number 41, right? So let me just show you this again. See this query. We don't have the 1400 here. The serial number, the 41. If I execute this, see that. Where is the 41? There's no mention of 1400 here. Are you getting the point? So for us, the group by is not a solution, right? And we can't use the top as per the question. Okay. So ultimately, we are back to the square one. I'm going to just use this again. Okay. So I mean, I wanted to show you this because, as a beginner, uh, you may tend to do this type of a mistake, right? So group by is not going to work in this case because we just need a one row. Okay. Now, once we have this 1300, it's very easy. I can just go and say, okay, I want every record. Let's just use this now. Select all from DDO dot. I hate writing the long names actually. So select all from this, the table, right? And where, let me just press enter, where my salary is equals to, where my salary equals to whatever the result this query returns, right? Isn't it? So I can just use the open bracket and one close bracket here. So I want everything from this table where the salary actually is 1300. So if I run this, I should be able to see the record. Congratulations. Right. So I hope this is clear now. Let's move to so this is good. Now let's go to the second question. What do we have in the second question? How will you search consecutive matches with viewers over above 10,000 using lag function and the common table expression, CTE? Okay, so what exactly it is? So let me show you this. Let's just run this. So this is another table. Okay, and I guess this table is not mine. AdventureWorks might be somewhere else. I have to find it out. Wait a second. Yeah. So you see, this is your table which has 3 fields, right? And so there is a match date. Let's say football match is, this is a calendar, and these are the IDs for each match. Whatever match, maybe rugby, maybe cricket, badminton, anything. So this is the viewer strength that is coming. How many? So audience, basically. What is the audience number, right? So here it's coming like 15,000, then it's coming 2,000 and 3,000, Now what we have to do, we have to actually find out what are those IDs? What are those IDs? Where we have audience strength greater than above 10,000. Right? Above 10,000. Like for example, if we see here, we have 15,000 and then 2,000. So this is not going to work, right? So I'm just going to cross this. Then 2,000, 3,000. No, this is not going to work. Then you have 10,000, right? So this is 10,000. Let's say it's equals to 10,000 and above, and the 48,000. So this should work, right? So we have to capture these IDs, right? Because it is equals to 10,000 and it is above 10,000. What about the other ones? So if I say 48,000, 5,000, no. If I say 5,700, no. If I use this, no, this combination is also not going to work. This is also not going to work, and this is also not going to work. So I think only this is the combination that we have here, right? And it is stated here that we have to use the lag function. I think lag function is a wonderful function. It makes your life very easy when you're working with the SQL server. What it does. So the plan is actually, we will just go and, create here one table. Okay. We will create here one table, the field actually, where we already have got the viewers here, right? We have got the viewers here. So I'm just going to say that, in front of 2000, you come. In front of 2000, you come, and then in front of 3000, you come. So we are going to check the previous values, what I'm trying to say, right? Because see, if I have here, for example, if I have here, so obviously in front of 15,000, which is our first row, the value will be 0. Make sense, right? And then here in front of 2000, so you will have a value of 15,000, correct or not? Right? Now, and same for the others, correct? So if I have here 15,000 and I have here this, what you call, 2000. So I can see if this value is greater than 10,000, and if this value is also greater than 10,000. Because remember, this is going to be a new field for you. So we can see that this and this, if they are greater than 10,000, that is what we need. We want to capture that ID number. And also because these are the dates, very important, because we are talking about the in a sequence, right? The date should be in a sequence. So definitely we will use the order by, so that all the dates are sorted first in the, you know, ascending order. And I think they are already sorted. You don't have to do it, but this is how you should do. Otherwise, what will happen if your dates are random, then this comparison does not make any sense, isn't it? Because then you're checking the random dates. We want the consecutive matches back, uh, one match after the another match. I hope you got the concept, right? Now, one more thing they have mentioned here, that lab function is fine, but then you have to use the CT, common table expression. Using the common table expression, you can use this otherwise using the self join also. So that is not what the interviewer has asked. So we're going to create a common table expression, right? First of all, I'm just going to write select all from the view list matches, right? I hope you are loving this lecture. Please give me some of your love. Okay, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this channel with others also. This is going to be a big motivation, right? Please shower some love on my work. Okay, so select all from this, and after that we will say how to use the lag function. Just write lag function like this. Says we need the viewers, right? Because I have no concern with the match date; they are already sorted. So I'm just going to say that the views, and I'll say one, right, as previous date. Okay, previous, let's say viewer, for example. This is what I want actually. Okay, so let's first of all run this. Let's see that what this is going to, is going to give us. And I forgot this. It says over clause is not written. I just forgot that. So we have to write the over. Okay, and now one more thing. See, let me just run this first of all to show you. See, when you run this, you get the error. I in my trainings also, I pretty much focus on my errors. You see that it says that over clause with order by. Whenever you write the over clause, it is mandatory for us to write the order by. Okay, this is very much important. So I will just go and write here order by. Now we can see that order by, so our field was date. What was the match date, I think. So we can say that order by match date as well, or order by ID, whatever. I mean, you want to do it. They're already sorted. So now if I'm going to run this, we should see the new column. Okay, and that is what exactly I was talking about. Now please see here. So you have 15,000, and of course, as I said, it's going to be null because there's nothing here. It is the first row, right? Now this 1500 is going here. This 2,000 is going here. This is like an Excel. This function behaves like an Excel, in my opinion, because it's like you're saying that there is a A1, A2, A3, and in front of that, you just go and say that A1 should be A0, and then A2 should be A1 equals to A1 equals to A3 equals to. You're creating a column and just drag this, isn't it? So in SQL Server, the cell referencing doesn't work, by the way, right? So that's how it is. So now once we have this data, we just want that, as I said, that we will just say that if viewer and p viewer are greater than or equals to 10,000, then let's capture that ID. I just need the ID basically, isn't it? So because this is a CTE, common table expression. So for common table expression, what you do is you create here the width and you write a CTE name. Common table expression, you can write any name, right? So I'm just going to write here, let's say test. Okay, and then as, and then we start. And common table expressions are very nice because you can connect the tables that it creates on the fly. You can connect them, you can use them, right? And you don't have to write separate queries. You can just write in one common table expression and you can connect everything. Like for example, first of all, let me just close this. So you see, once you have a common table expression here, because we are writing here the with word, what you need from this now, that you have to write select. So I'm going to write test because that is my common table expression name, right? ID, right? And I don't need anything, by the way. And then I say from, and then what do I need? So I guess we don't need anything, right? So I'm just going to write test. And now if I simply go and run this, okay, you get all the IDs. This is working, right? So this is working. You see that? But since we have the where clause, we will write where test dot the date, whatever it was, the viewer actually, the viewers greater than equals to 10,000, and at the same time test dot the viewers greater than equal to 10,000. So wherever you have this query, I mean, wherever you have this validation is true, that is what we need, right? So if I just simply run this, you can run this query. Don't select with, otherwise you'll get the error, because if you're selecting the with like this, it expects you to select the rest of the query as well. Okay. So I'm just going to run the query to see the headers. So one is viewers, so which is okay, and P actually the viewer. So this is actually P, and yeah. So now if I run this, we should see what is the header. Okay, let's just run this. Incorrect syntax. Okay, I see some errors. Sorry, this, I don't know what was that. Single quote, I think somehow it got created. Let's run this again and look at this now. This is giving me 5. Fantastic. So this is basically the comparison. So here you know that this is not qualified, right? This is not qualified because of the null. Then here also it's not qualified, correct? Here also it's not qualified. Here also it's not qualified. Remember, this is the ID number 4, right? Because it's 10,000 being 10,000 and the 3,000. So if you see here, this is where we have greater than or equals to 10,000 in both the areas, in both the columns, and that is why the right ID actually is 5, not even 4, right? My mistake, right? So, but we have got the answer. The point is that, and then because this is how the comparison is happening, isn't it? So that's how it is. And same way then, if you see here, this is also not qualified, right? This is also not qualified. So we have got the 5, which is the correct answer, right? Because the previous 4, this ID is being compared with the previous, because this is how the comparison will happen, isn't it? So this is giving us the right answer. And now let's go and talk about the third question. So what is it? So if you see, this is the SQL trick question. Can you spot the mistake here? Select count all from orders. So there is a table called orders where status is equals to shipped or null. So basically, let's say for example, if this is a table and here we have some status, okay, status done, not done, done, not done, and some null. Now what exactly it does, it says that you are supposed to pick the status which is equals to shipped, or if a status is null, well, there is something null written, like for example this one, isn't it? Now this is not the right way to write this SQL. So the correct answer actually is, because when you're writing the or, when you're writing this or, you have to go and mention here again the status. It's pretty simple, status, and it's not actually just null. Okay, we will just go and say if it is status is null. Okay, this is what you will write, where the status equals to shipped or status is in null. So I hope you have enjoyed, right? So I'll take a leave now and we will meet in the again in some another amazing lecture. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.